Picture the worst job at the most watched sporting event on earth. You've trained your entire life for this moment. Years of diving, catching, shouting at defenders, wearing a different color shirt so people can tell you apart from everyone else. You are the last line of defense for your entire country. And then the draw happens. And you look at the group sheet. And there he is, Lionel Messi. You're going to need a minute. This is the 2026 FIFA World Cup. 48 teams, 16 host cities across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And somewhere in that bracket, a 38-year-old man from Rosario, Argentina, is doing something that should not be physically possible. He just broke the all-time record for World Cup goals, 18, in 6 tournaments, across 22 years, and he's not done. Today we find out why it sucks to be a goalkeeper at the 2026 World Cup. We take the worst lives in history and ask one simple question: how bad is it really? And today's answer is very, very, very bad. Let's set the scene, because before we get to Messi, we need to understand just how brutal this tournament already is for the people standing between the posts. The 2026 World Cup is the biggest in history. 48 teams instead of 32. More games, more goals, more moments where a goalkeeper is left standing in the net, staring at the ball sitting behind them, wondering where it all went wrong. And it is packed, absolutely packed, with the most dangerous attackers on the planet, all arriving at the same time, at the peak of their powers, with something to prove. Let's start with the obvious one: Messi. Lionel Messi is 38 years old. He has been playing professional football since you were probably in school. He won the World Cup 4 years ago in Qatar. He has won everything there is to win. And yet here he is, still doing it, still making goalkeepers look like they've never seen a football before in their lives. Against Algeria in Game 1, hat trick, 3 goals. Argentina win 3-0. Messi draws level with Miroslav Klose's all-time World Cup scoring record of 16 goals. And then Game 2 comes around. Austria are the opponents. And the poor soul in goal for Austria has done everything right. He's prepared. He's watched the tape. He knows Messi likes to cut inside on his right foot. He knows the angles. He's told his defenders exactly where to stand. It doesn't matter. 38 minutes in, Messi sweeps it home. Goal number 17, record equaled. And then, deep into stoppage time, just to make absolutely sure the message was received, Messi scores again. 18 World Cup goals, the all-time record, men's and women's combined. He has now scored more World Cup goals than any player in the history of the sport. The Austrian goalkeeper didn't do anything wrong. Messi just did something impossible. That's the job now. That's what you're walking into. But let's say you're lucky. Let's say your group doesn't have Argentina in it. You're safe, right? Wrong. Because if Argentina are in one half of the draw, Erling Haaland is lurking in the other. Norway are at a World Cup for the first time in 28 years. A whole generation of Norwegian fans has never seen their team play at this tournament. And Haaland, who has been absolutely terrifying in club football for years, finally gets his chance on the biggest stage. Game 1. Norway vs Iraq. Boston. Haaland scores twice. Norway win 4-1. Game 2. Norway vs Senegal. Haaland scores twice again. Norway win 3-2 and qualify for the knockouts. 4 goals in 2 games. He is second in the Golden Boot race, level with Kylian Mbappé, 1 goal behind Messi. Let that sink in. The second highest scorer at this World Cup has 4 goals and hasn't even broken a sweat yet. And then there's Mbappé. France against Iraq, 3-0. Mbappé with a brace. 16 World Cup goals now, pulling level with Germany legend Miroslav Klose's previous all-time record, before Messi broke it. 3 of the most dangerous forwards on the planet, all in the same tournament, all in form, all chasing records. If you are a goalkeeper at the 2026 World Cup, you are not facing one nightmare. You are walking into a tournament where the nightmare has multiple names and several different left feet. Let's talk about what it actually feels like on the pitch. Because this is the part nobody really talks about. When you're a goalkeeper at a World Cup, you are simultaneously the most important person on the team and the one person whose best performance is being completely ignored. If your team wins 3-0, the three forwards who scored get the headlines. You get nothing. Your clean sheet is noted somewhere in paragraph 4 of the match report. If your team loses 1-0, and that one goal was the most spectacular, unreturnable, once-in-a-generation strike in the history of the sport, something no keeper on earth could have stopped, guess what the headline says? Goalkeeper at fault. You cannot win. That's the basic condition of your existence. And at this particular World Cup, in this particular year, with this particular collection of attackers, you are carrying an extra special level of helplessness. Because Messi doesn't just score goals. He scores goals that make you look foolish. Goals where you dive the right way and the ball goes through your hands anyway. Goals where you don't even move because your brain hasn't processed that a human being just did that. 18 World Cup goals doesn't happen by accident. It happens because for 22 years, every goalkeeper who has faced him has eventually found out that their preparation, their positioning, their years of training, it wasn't quite enough. And the sad thing is, you know all of this before the game even starts. You've watched the footage. You've seen the goals. You've had the team meeting where the analyst shows you his shooting patterns and preferred angles, and the coach says, just don't give him space. You nod. You write things down. You try to look confident. And then you walk out in front of 80,000 people, and you stand in your goal, and you wait. And eventually, the ball finds its way to him, the way it always does. Because teams are built around him. Because he finds pockets of space that don't appear to exist. Because 38 years old or not, he is still doing things that the sport hasn't quite figured out how to stop. And you make your choice, left or right, and you go. And sometimes you get it right, and the ball hits the post, and Messi smiles. And you know there are 89 minutes left. Let's zoom out for a second. Because while Messi, Haaland, and Mbappé are the obvious names, the 2026 World Cup is not just 3 dangerous forwards and 45 fillers. This is a 48-team tournament with more attacking quality than any World Cup in history. Brazil are here. Portugal are here. England are here, and they're dangerous. Morocco made waves 4 years ago, and they're back. The USMNT are hosting on home soil with something to prove. Colombia, Germany, Spain, all loaded. Every single match you play, the person on the other side of the pitch wants to score, needs to score, is representing their entire country, and has been dreaming about this moment since they were a child. You are the thing standing between them and glory. That is your job every single game. And here's the cruelest part of all of this. You might do everything right. You might have the tournament of your life. Save after save, penalty saved in the shootout, the works. And then in the semifinal, Messi gets the ball 30 yards out and does that thing he does, and the ball is in the back of the net before you finished reading this sentence. And you're out. And he's in the final. And nobody will remember your tournament. They'll remember his goal. That is the specific misery of being a goalkeeper at the 2026 World Cup. You are excellent. You might be one of the best in the world at what you do. And there is a man in that tournament who is simply operating at a level that your excellence cannot fully account for. There's something else nobody talks about either. The waiting. Between matches, a goalkeeper has too much time to think. The outfield players recover, train, watch clips, stay focused on movement and shape. But you sit with your thoughts and replay every goal you've conceded. You wonder if you positioned yourself an inch too far to the right. You wonder if you should have come off your line sooner. You watch Messi's goals back, because your analyst makes you, and you pause it frame by frame trying to find the moment you could have done something different. And the honest answer, most of the time, is that there wasn't one. He just did something that wasn't supposed to be possible. But you'll be back in training tomorrow morning, diving at cones, telling yourself next time will be different. That's the job. That's always been the job. Hope that next time the ball goes wide. So how bad is it to be a goalkeeper at the 2026 World Cup? You carry your country on your back while getting none of the credit when things go right. You take all the blame when things go wrong. You spend 90 minutes in a state of focused terror, knowing that at any moment a ball is going to come at you from a direction you didn't expect, at a speed you weren't ready for. And this year specifically, you are doing all of that in a tournament where Messi has 18 World Cup goals and counting, where Haaland has scored in every single game, where Mbappé has 16 World Cup goals and a point to prove, and where France, Argentina, Norway, Brazil, and about 12 other teams all genuinely believe they can win. You trained your whole life for this moment, just not for this. The next time you watch a World Cup game and the camera cuts to the goalkeeper after conceding, the blank stare, the hands on knees, the slow walk back to the goal line, remember that he prepared. He watched the tape. He did everything right. Some years, that's enough. This is not one of those years. And if you enjoyed suffering alongside the unluckiest person at the biggest tournament on earth, subscribe. We drop videos every week. And be grateful that the most Messi can do to your day is score against your team.